Good morning, everyone. Vision of the inner, or you can say the poet of the inner. His message is like that of a poet or like that of a musician. Whatever he has realized cannot be put into the words. He can express it through his gestures. Both music and poetry are mystical in nature. Maybe the song may give the glimpse of his experience. Maybe the dance may give the glimpse of his experience. Remember one thing about the masters, be it Nanak, be it Buddha, be it Kabir, be it Lao Tse, or anyone else for that matter. Whatever they say, it is through the song, it is through the song, the existent and the sound, the existential sound. Whatever he said is through existential sound. Whatsoever Nanak said, he is said within the framework of the existential sound, Omkar. Yesterday I was listening to a music, silence, music, in which the alphabets of the Sanskrit language are used. This is a British singer. She has studied Sanskrit language, and this is the music. We are using the notes of music, sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, and the alphabet of this Sanskrit. She has created a music. Nanak used the existential sound, Omkar, to compose his songs or pauris as these are known. Buddha's message is the reflection of the existential sound. The real thing is this existential sound, be it in the form of breath, be it in the form of beauty. Meera expressed this through song and dance. The real thing is this existential sound. The moment you can feel and hear the sound echoing within, transformation has happened. Here, the entire effort of the masters is for you to listen to this existential sound. Music, when it becomes a replica of that, it becomes the real music. The moment you can feel and hear the sound echoing within you, the sound of harmony, the sound of bliss, transformation has happened. Nanak wants this sound to echo within through his words. And once the echo of the existential sound can be heard within, then this process of thought will disappear. the process of thought will disappear, and you will reach to another level of the world, the wordless. If you are not holding the shore and are ready to flow, then even the last thing can happen. And the last thing that happens is meditation or manan. Manan is the process which is beyond the mind. The Urdu word for it, zikr, is the first word, the chanting of the words. Fikr, introspection, can be a very close English word. The experience of the master is so vast that it cannot be put into the words. Words have limitations, and the moment a word is spoken, you give your own meaning within the Islamic framework, within the Hindu framework, within the Sikh framework, and so on and so forth. The experience is so vast that it cannot be put into the words. It is like the sweets that dumb has tasted it. He knows the taste but cannot put into the words. And one who knows the taste can never forget once you have tasted it. You can never forget this. A poet says, एक बार जो तूने पुकारा था मुझे, ताज़ीस्त मेरे मन में बजती रही शहनाई. Shehnai is oboe, the most beautiful musical instrument. एक बार, once, you have called me lovingly. Imagine the glance, the look, the words that have been spoken by your beloved once. The memory of that continues to linger in your ears ere long, like the dissolving notes of an enchanting melody. A melody you have heard, now its notes are dissolving into something which is beyond description. एक बार जो तूने पुकारा था मुझे, ताज़ीस्त मेरे मन में बजती रही शहनाई. I can hear that tacit music always. Experience is so vast that you cannot put into the words. It is like the sweets that a dumb has tasted it. He knows the taste, but he cannot put into the words. And one who knows the taste can never forget it till eternity. The taste is so vast that you will drown into its vastness, but you cannot explain it. It is like the drop. Like a drop, you will dissolve into the vastness of the ocean. Like the drop, you will drown in the vastness of the ocean. Through manan or introspection or meditation, Surati, the word that Nanak and Kabir has used, Surat Kalhari Madwari, Madhwa pi gayi bin tole. Nanak is that who has drank the infinite consciousness, Surati, to infinite quantum. Through manan or meditation, awareness or constant remembrance. Awareness means constant remembrance. Meera says that she does not have to remember Krishna. Says, what you have done to me, I do not know. That day and night, every moment, I remain engrossed into your thoughts. And your thoughts cannot erase from my memory. That is why it is said, a devotee or a bhakt is like a pregnant woman. A change has taken place in her anatomy. With the interaction of ovum and sperm, a new life is growing. She does not have to remember this, but she cannot forget that she is carrying a new life in her womb. A bhakt is one who is carrying a new life, a new awareness into his being. Through manan or introspection or meditations, awareness or the constant remembrance happens, and it invokes the infinite within, the formless within form. And as you enter into the dialogue, you lose the awareness. It grows in the silence. The roots grow, the seed begins to sprout in the darkness and in the silence deep within the womb of the earth. Deep within the womb of your being, the roots grow, and when it begins to come onto the surface, its beauty and fragrance spreads and becomes known to everyone. And as you enter into dialogue, you lose awareness. The 99% of life's trouble happens because you are constantly speaking, and in speaking you lose focus on you. Awareness is a two-arrowed arrow, two pointed arrows. It points towards you and it points towards the other. Normally what happens when you are speaking, your focus is on to the other and you lose contact with your inner self. You look at the bow. The bow has two ends. One that remains fixed on to the string of the bow, and the other which is pointed that faces the target. There has to be a connection between the two. This is radius. Radius connects the center to the circumference. Radius connects the center to the awareness. And without the center, the circumference has no meaning. Your awareness is the radius that connects the center to the circumference. Awareness is the radius that connects the center to the circumference. So as you enter into dialogue, awareness begins to lose. And one should not begin to speak until the two-arrowed consciousness is developed. In speaking, your focus is on the other. I am speaking to you. This is because there is no other way. Speaking is happening. This is a live streaming wherein many of you are connected through various devices. Maybe some are connected through Facebook device, some are connected through the YouTube device, and others are connected through the Skype online connection. My focus as I look at the screen, I see on these three screens are open. YouTube screen, where only I am there on the screen. Then the Skype screen, which shows who are connected at the moment out of the entire group of the people who are part of this live streaming via Skype. And Now when I look at the screen of the Facebook, I am visible there in the background, and then as someone connects to it, or just by mistake, knowingly or unknowingly, begins to listen, and some of them finds this is all rubbish. Some say that they ask me the question, which book of Osho am I reading from? And they just like a passing cloud, they disappear. So the screen keeps on adjusting to the names. If the number of people visiting this streaming increases, the name keep on moving onto the screen. But amidst all this, there is one common factor, which is me. My focus is on the three screens, that they are constantly streaming without any obstruction. But at the same time, where the words are emanating from, what is the source of these words that are overflowing? My connection is to my center. There are three circumferences, and the radius, which is awareness that connects the center to the Skype online circumference. It connects through, because the YouTube is another circumference. Again, the radius from the center connects to the circumference, which is YouTube. And then as I turn my face towards the Facebook streaming, again the awareness, the radius of awareness connects the center to the circumference, which is YouTube, which is Facebook live streaming. Awareness is the radius that connects you to this center, and then your consciousness or awareness becomes a two-pointed arrow. You do not lose connection, you do not lose your awareness when you are speaking. And in 99% of life's troubles arises because of your speaking. And when you are speaking, you are disconnected to your center. You are disconnected to your center. And the moment you are disconnected to your center, it is the ego which becomes the guiding principle. And the moment the awareness is connected, like the radius between the circumference, the one who is on the circumference to whom you are speaking, and the center from where the words are emanating, the two are connected to one another through radius. There is nothing else. And this radius is your awareness. Then the problem will not arise. Still they do arise, because the one that you are speaking, you are connected. But the one that is listening only through the mind. So interprets your words, shrugs his shoulders or the head in complete disagreement with that, or partial disagreement with all that is spoken. Therefore, the moment you attain to silence, your inner disturbance disappears. Why is this speaking so dangerous? When you are speaking, your awareness is at the lowest ebb, because there is no connection. It is like this. Your You have switched on the bulb, but you forget to put the plug into the socket. The connection between the socket and the plug is not there. The current is not flowing. The speaking becomes dangerous because the current or the energy is not flowing from the center. When you are speaking, your awareness then becomes at the lowest ebb. When you are speaking, your attention is on the other and you miss attention on you. In speaking, the arrow of your consciousness is facing the other. Consciousness is a single-faced arrow. Ordinarily, consciousness only faces the one that you are speaking to. And in this process, the awareness misses you. In that state, you say things for which you have to repent for lives and lives. You are in love with a person, and you vow your love for lives. You cannot trust this very moment, and you are talking of lives. Hindus talk of 7 lives of love. If I say correctly, 7 lives means 7 churches as Christians calls it, 7 temples as Buddhists calls it, or 7 chakras. Your love is intense when the energy flows through the base center Muladhara. It is there when it flows through Swadhisthana, or you are at the level of sex. Then when it moves to the level of energy through the emotional aspect, which is your solar plexus, when from there it moves to the heart center, which is the 4th, it is still there, the love. But otherwise, when you are making love, you are in harmony. But that lasts only for a few minutes. You have been quarreling with one another, and all of a sudden you decided to make love. For a few moments, you are possessed by that energy, and then the same thing of conflict continues because the love is not flowing the 7 psychocenters. It is there only as long as you are operating through the lower centers, the Muladhara and the Swadhisthana. When it reaches the solar plexus, the center of life, it is not there. At that moment, you are not connected to the center of your. But how can you connect at that moment to the center of your life? Is through observing your breathing. If during that act you start observing your breathing, the quality of your act becomes different, and it becomes different, and then the process of transformation begins. So at that moment, keep your focus on your breathing, because in the beginning the breathing is very haphazard, then it begins to slow down, and a moment comes when even during the act you do not feel that you are breathing, as if everything has become silent. You are in love with a person. You vow your love for lives. You cannot trust this very moment. And in moving from the sex to the level of emotions, the moment you reach to the level of emotions, disturbance comes in, the love begins to vanish. So how can it reach? How can the love reach to the other center, or the love energy reach to the heart center? And from heart center to the center of expression. Again, what happens there for a few moments while the love is being made, you are very loving to the person, and the moment when that is finished, it reaches to the center of expression or the throat center. Same old story begins. And unless before the act and after the act your expression remains loving, then it reaches to the command center, from where it sends the commands to the various energy channels in you, that they begin to become relaxed. Then you can say that you have lived your love. Your love has blossomed through 7 lives. Do not go with the hackneyed word that love is for 7 lives. Love, when it begins to flow through the 7 centers or 7 churches or 7 temples, only then it is 7 lives. No one knows what will happen the next moment. But if you know, you can work for it to have the same intensity as when the act of lovemaking begins, when it reaches to and you are focusing, your attention is on your breathing, focus is on your breathing. When the energy reaches the solar plexus, there will be calmness. And when it reaches to the heart center, the effects, the surface effects of the act of sex will begin to vanish, and you will get its subtle energies. Subtle energy is the harmony within and the harmony with that person. And when it reaches to the throat center, the expression, the two can look at one another with the eyes glowing, with a different kind of a shine within their eyes. From there, when the communion happens, both within and without, there is a totally different quality. Then you have known what has happened in this life. When you are operating through the lower centers, you will know when you are operating, when the energy reaches to the solar plexus or the center of emotionality. Because whenever there is an emotional disturbance, it is the solar plexus that gets disturbed the most. And most of the people have the stomach disturbances in the form of digestion, in the form of many other things. Then you can know. This is because of your unconsciousness. If you are really aware, you cannot say such things. Then all you can say, this moment I am overflowing with love for you. However, nothing can be said for the next moment. When you reach to the next moment, to the heart center, and all the energy, there is nothing residue in the emotional center, the center of your solar plexus, then you can say the new life has come into it. This will not appeal to your ego. When the spark of love kindles in your heart, then you think love will continue till eternity. Do you really understand the meaning of the word eternity? Means as your energy begins to flow from the lower centers to the 1,000 petal, and then it merges. And then when it merges into the entire cosmos, then you become eternal. I have heard One day the wife of Mullah Nasruddin was complaining to her husband that his intensity of love is not the same as before. It is because, is it so that I have grown old, or I have developed wrinkles now that you do not love me as before? And remember, in front of the priest, you have taken the vow to be together in happiness and sorrow. Mullah, who was silent up to now, listening to Mrs. Mullah, to his wife, replied, "Yes, indeed, it is true. I had promised to be together in happiness and sorrow. I had promised, taken a vow to be together in happiness and sorrow, and I am fulfilling it. However, what?" His wife asked. What? Mullah became silent. However, nothing was said about old age. No promise was made about the old age. This is what happens. If you keep control on your words, which is very difficult, at the plane of the words you can really be aware. Only a Buddha can speak. To be a Buddha means now your awareness is double-arrowed. Through his awareness, he has developed such understanding. This awareness is called Surati, as Nanak calls it. Or one who has developed the double-faced arrow, the witness is born in you. You are a witness to all that is happening within you when you are speaking. You can feel from where the words are overflowing. I can keep my eyes closed and feel from where these words are originating, as if a reservoir is open now, from where as many buckets of water you can fill. You can go on and filling, and the reservoir never gets empty. Such is the nature of the being. Such is the nature of the being. This is indicated by a double-faced arrow. Witness is born in you at that moment. You are a witness that the radius is developed. One end is connected, is fixed on the center or the center, and the other is on the circumference. Only then circle can be completed. When you are speaking to someone, a circle is being drawn, and circle cannot be drawn until there is radius. And compass uses the radius. Its point is fixed on the center, and the other where there is something that can draw a pencil or something that can draw the pencil becomes the word. Word is drawing the circle around it. But as long as your arrow is focused, the point of your arrow is connected, fixed onto the center, and the pencil of the word is moving in a circular movement. As I am speaking to you, a circumference is created because the circle is completed. You are on the circumference, I am on the center. Now from each point of the center, you can reach to my each point on the circumference you can reach to my center. How? You like my words, you like my cooking. Cooking is another point. And in cooking there are many things. Maybe the gravy, maybe the appetizers, maybe the way I explain. These are all the points on circumference through which you are connected, reaching to my center. And in doing so, you are reaching to your center also. So with every point, everything that you see, the word that I speak, the things that I cook, the various things, the appetizers, the dessert, the main course meals, and various dishes, various flatbread, this and that, and so that I cook. These are all the points through which you can connect to the center that I am, and that which takes you from the circumference where you are, where you have heard the word or where you have seen the image. Through the radius of your awareness, you reach to my center and you are connected. When every point on the circumference of the circle connects you to you, connects you to the center that I am, in that you are not only connected to me, but in fact you are connecting to your own center. You are becoming balanced and harmonious. This is why it is a blessing to be around a master. Blessing around, because he does not teach you something, but he teaches you. जिंदगी जीने का फलसफा सिखाता है. It teaches you how to live your life moment to moment through various vicissitudes of life, through various emotional, intellectual and physical emotionalities. Because emotions have the physical nature, the emotional and the intellectual nature. Now, when you are speaking, your awareness centers on the listener, but at the same time you are not unaware of your own center. Witness is born that no word can create a problem in you. No word can create a problem in you. I have heard a Sufi story. It happens, once a Sufi sent 4 of his disciples for a silent meditation. It was evening. All of them were sitting in the mosque in the darkness. No one was saying anything. No lamp. No one lit the lamp. The servant passed by. One of the disciples asked the servant to light the lamp. The second disciple reminded the purpose of being here. That we are here, sent by the Master to practice silence. The second disciple reminded the first one who asked the servant to light the lamp. The third cautioned what they were doing here. Thus the 3 of them spoke something or the other. And the fourth one said, you know what did the fourth one say? All of you spoke, but I did not. The first one spoke because he asked the servant to light the lamp. The second reminded him that he was not supposed to speak. And the third cautioned what they were doing. They forget the purpose. And the fourth one said, you all spoke, but it is only I who did not speak. Thus all of them said something or the other. Speaking is unconscious. The moment you become conscious of your speaking, speaking becomes music. Speaking becomes a poetic expression. It becomes, and sometimes then, inner beauty assumes the form of words. Sometimes inner beauty assumes the form of the words. It assumes the form of the dishes that you prepare. Why do your dishes taste better? Because of the inner harmony that you have. You express, that flows in at the moment when you are preparing something. You are creating something. You are playing the music then. You are composing something. Whatsoever you act, you are doing, and there is a witness in you. There is a connection between the circumference and the center. Because circumference at a particular point, because at the moment you are not speaking, instead you are preparing a particular kind of a flat bread for breakfast or lunch or for dinner or for whatsoever occasion it is, whether it is for you or for someone else. But act is the same. Then something begins to happen. When you are speaking, your act will not be unconscious. When I say speaking, I am using the word speaking. Speaking is an expression of something from within. Cooking is an expression of inner harmony. Speaking is an expression of your unconscious, your disharmony within, or harmony within. You may say that speaking is an act of harmony. Or you can say, what the shit is that? Whatsoever flows within is there, expresses itself through your gestures, through your words. So let there be harmony within, then whatever you do, it will overflow bliss. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.